Hello again and welcome back. I was requested to make a video upon the oil processing, so I will try to do my best, but I must speak this at front. This is not a definitive video about oil processing. The best oil processing is the one that works for you the best. And with that on mind, what I'm going to do in this video is show you the options of the oil processing, so you can adapt to what you want to get and what you can do, because those are different things. Let's start off with the caveman oil processing, because as you might know, processing the oil directly give you one ingot. However, you can get something extra for some ores, that instead of breaking the ore with your pickaxe, you use a hammer, and you get the crocheted version of it. And the crocheted version, when it's melted, gonna give you 10 iron nuggets instead of one ingot, and that is a little extra iron, but it takes a heavy tool into the tool itself, so you need to break a lot of blocks to it to might actually value it. This is not recommended because, as you might expect, it's not very effective. The real first oil processing started when you have enough bronze to actually make some small boilers and make a forge hammer where you can place your ore and you're gonna break it like if it was the hammer, but not using a hammer actually. But the best is to actually get the steam macerator, because that's gonna double your ore. But as you see, it will take some time to it. Some time will pass with a ton of steam, and you're finally gonna get your crocheted material. You're gonna get through. You could smelt it as I showed before to get 10, but not in all cases that not happens. Like in the case of the tetrahedrite, if you see on uses, the crocheted one only give you 3 copper nuggets, so you are actually losing some of it instead of gaining. That's where the forge hammer enter in action. If you take the crocheted tetrahedrite and throw into the forge hammer here, it will turn into impure one, and the impure one can be smelted as normal. The reason why you can actually crush it again to macerator to get the impure form, but doing 2 macerators in a row uses a lot of steam and actually takes a very long time, while the forge hammer itself, as you saw, is pretty fast. And then our left is to place into a steam furnace. That's what the setup is about. The ore is processed, then crushed, and then smelted into this little chest here. Very, very simple. And when you have enough materials, you can change for the high pressure version of this stuff, if you really want to. The coal boilers is a good idea because they can heat up twice as much as the normal one, so they produce a lot more steam into a smaller area. The only difference is the high pressure ones work twice as fast. So as you can see, it's going pretty fast actually. While this one here, it's moving so slow. But of course, twice as fast means twice as much steam. And this is the processing you can do at the Bronze Age. The next step is into the Electrical Age, and this is where things start to get complicated. And now let's go for the first step, that is the basic macerators. Simply as can be, you place your ore here, and it's gonna work into the same speed as the high pressure macerator, but using electricity instead of steam, and give you the same amount of ore that the high pressure does. And that is the basic version that is probably gonna use for a good amount of time. But later on, when you have access to the high voltage one, you should upgrade it to an universal macerator. That's just not do things 4 times as faster, using 16 times more energy. But as you can see here, you have a little chance of gaining an extra byproduct. So that is good, isn't it? It's all good. 10% chance of getting something extra. And as you can see here, this is the highest level of polarization. I believe it is extreme or insane voltage and has chance to get you a 30 or even a 40 byproduct. But not all machines need that. But this step may be skipped in the future, because if you have an advanced miner too, it's going to harvest your minerals and already crush it into the crushed version like a universal macerator. So the first step could be skip it. Alright, after the first step of the maceration comes the second step, and things start to get complicated. That is the purification of the ore. We have here at least the minimum 3 tiers, the most common to the more uncommon. Let's start with the more uncommon, that is chemical reactors with some water and the ore. Because if you have a farm area that produces crops, you can use it into the basic chemical reactor, one of the crochet and 9 leaves, to increase your yield from the ore. As you see, you're gonna get 4 ores and a little something extra, in this case iron. So this is quadruple our ore, since we can get 2 from a block. If you could process everything here using crop leaves into this chemical reactor, you're gonna end it with 8 times the amount of ore we started, and you're gonna gain some extras. So in some extreme cases, the chemical reactor can even change the original product to another type. As magnetite, as the name say, it is basically iron. If you water wash one with the Aurelia, that is gold, as you can see, you're gonna receive something different. You're gonna receive purified gold and some copper instead of magnetite and iron. But as I said, you need to have a constant supply of crop leaves for that, and not many people are willing to do that. The second best options and more uncommon is the basic chemical bet, where you can bet your ores and gain. They not just become purified, but they also wield some extra materials. This can be pretty useful for some materials that some materials can give you something that you don't have access yet. As you see, I have water washed it. Ignore this. And got 1 purified magnetite, got some gold dust and stone dust. You wonder that it's not 100%. It's easy, just a 70% chance. However, if I water wash this crushed nickel here, as you see, I'll get the purified nickel and platinum. Platinum is a higher tier metal, so that's a way to get some of it early game. But now let's go for the most common, that is the basic water washing. I just simply toss your ore and get the wash it. And again some of the products of it. In this case a tiny pile of iron and some dust. You're gonna take this time and this amount of power. So this is the most common way. But unfortunately that is we can call step 0 for those who want to think about it. If you don't have the water or spare or the energy or I don't know, simply you can't craft it, you can just, as you show into the bronze processing, just forge hammer it to get the impure one and smelt directly, or maybe the more advanced step, move forward. So we have these four options into the purification. Chemical reactor with crops or becomes if you have the bees. Chemical bed to get some more of it, but you need to have to provide the material to do the battery. So most time it's mercury or other stuff like perfumes, coisas in stuff. So it might be a little costly at the beginning. The extra common water washing, that just use water, and if you don't have access to any, just crush your ore to get the impure version and smelt it directly. Let's move on. Moving on from purification, we'll now go for the refining. Into this step, normally there is 2 options here, but I want, and this is where things start to get messy because it's kind of a choice most of time. We can choose between on basically thermocentrifuge our ores or actually macerate them. There is little difference into them. Let's start with the contra, the cons. The basic centrifuge, you just toss your purified on here and it's gonna, I don't know you say, thermocentrifuge. The problem is that it requires at least 2 amperes of low voltage, so this eats power like a crazy. And in the end you get a centrifuge ore and a tiny of something. However, doing this step here, that is the universal macerator, you're gonna get something different. Not only we're gonna get the purified pile version of it, and it also has the chance of getting the 10% here, of getting the byproduct here. As you see here, we got some coal dust from it. Now, what is we have here a poor version that we simply basically forge a hammer the purified ore. This is quickly, don't require much power, and can be done as early as possible. That's why it is the basic one, but at the same time is the golden rule. And this is the golden rule, but sometimes it will be just as a lower priority. But I'm gonna try to explain here. The reason why you have this problem is with the next step. After this step comes the finalization of ore, and this is where the split begins. Normally, most people go for the thermal centrifuge because it is what seems to be the most obvious choice, because you got the centrifuge ore and a tiny one. If you follow that path, you're going to this direction here, that you have actually only 2 choices. On the beginning, simply basic forge it. Wrong ore. You simply basic forge it to turn into dust form to be used. Or in some cases you can actually cook it. But the best ones, of course, to use the universal macerator to have that sweet 10% chance of getting something extra. Holy, I am unlucky. As you see, I got magnetic and some gold dust. And this is where it finishes if you go to the thermocentrifuge. However, if you go into the universal macerator version of it, you're gonna have your chance to get the extra one into this step here, and then you're gonna just need to centrifuge your purified pile of it. Now, why this split? Because in my opinion, universal macerating or simply basic forging your purified crushed ore and then centrifuging it, in my opinion, it is faster and uses less power than using the thermocentrifuge to get your little tiny one that it is here into the last step instead of the third step. But unfortunately, this is valid for, I believe, 90% of all ores. Some ores that don't happen. One of those ores is, I believe, uranium. If you see, when we pulverize purified uranium, we have 10% chance of gaining uranium 235. However, when you try to pulverize centrifuged uranium ore, it changes to thorium. So we have these little cases where pulverizing the centrifuge ore give one thing, while pulverizing the purified ore give other stuff. But in most cases, it's just the same output. At the headite, we purify it. Then, if we thermocentrifuge, we're gonna get a tiny pile of zinc with a chance of zinc. But if you pulverize it, we're gonna exchange of zinc, and the purified tile is gonna give you a tiny pile of zinc. So either way, it is the same amount of ore. Well, this was it. This is the chain of processing ore, in my opinion. Confusing? Yes. Very confusing. But I believe I have delivered all the necessary info for you to decide which route you're gonna go. If you're gonna go for the most simple one, just macerating or washing, thermocentrifuge, and forge hamate. If you have the other options, you're gonna get something better. Anyway, this is On God. Thank you for watching.